Hey there, Dr. Hagmeyer, and welcome you back to my YouTube channel. Today I want to talk about something that's rarely discussed in traditional medicine or conventional medicine, and that's the surprising connection between histamine intolerance and ADHD. So if you have a child at home or you yourself have been struggling with symptoms like hyperactivity, impulsivity, poor focus, anxiety, mood swings, and you also notice that you've got certain restrictions to food or skin issues, allergies, or gut problems, histamine intolerance may be playing a role. Today I want to explore how histamine overload affects brain health, why it can worsen ADHD symptoms, and what you can do to start supporting a healthier brain and a calmer body. All right, so let's start with some of the basics. Really, what is histamine intolerance? This is going to be a review for some of you, but histamine is a natural chemical that your body produces. It's involved in many important functions like the immune response, in digestion, and even neurotransmission in the brain. But when histamine levels get too high, either from your own body producing too much histamine or your body not breaking down histamine properly, you can develop what's called histamine overload or histamine intolerance. And this isn't really a true allergy, it's more like an overflow problem. Your bucket is full, and every little bit that gets added to it causes it to spill over in the form of symptoms. Those could be headaches, migraines, anxiety and panic attacks, itchy skin, hives, rashes, fatigue, brain fog, runny nose, digestive issues like bloating and nausea. There's many symptoms. But the point is that histamine also affects your brain, and that's where the link between ADHD and histamine comes in. So did you know that histamine acts as a neurotransmitter? That means that histamine helps your brain and your nerve cells communicate with one another. So influencing things like alertness, wakefulness, and even your appetite. In fact, if you have too much histamine, it can lead to anxiety, restlessness, irritability, sleep issues. Again, all things that amplify ADHD symptoms. People with histamine intolerance may experience intense mood swings, racing thoughts, difficulty concentrating, and even panic attacks, especially after eating foods that are rich in or high in histamine. Aged cheeses, fermented foods, cured meats, vinegar, wine, alcohol, reheating certain leftovers. So again, if you're noticing that your child is struggling with ADHD and you combine with what I just said, there may be an issue with histamine. It's like pouring gas on a fire. Now, another key piece or puzzle is this neuroinflammation, inflammation in the brain. Research is showing that many children and adults with ADHD also have signs of chronic inflammation in the brain. That's triggered by food sensitivities, triggered by gut imbalances, triggered by problems with blood sugar instability, environmental toxins, and again, this histamine intolerance plays a role because of its role in inflammation. Now, when it builds up, it can disrupt the blood-brain barrier, activate cells that are called microglial cells, and that promotes inflammation throughout the brain, especially in areas that are center around focus, concentration, and emotional regulation. So we're not just talking about a behavior, we're talking about the brain chemistry and this immune system crosstalk. So the big question, can histamine intolerance worsen ADHD? And the answer probably you come to realize is that yes, it can. Histamine overload can worsen hyperactivity and restlessness and anxiety, sleep disturbances, sensory sensitivities, mood volatility. And again, because histamine also affects gut inflammation, it can contribute to poor absorption of nutrients like magnesium, B6, zinc, and iron, all of which are very important and essential for dopamine balance, and that's really connected to ADHD. So the big question that we want to tackle today is, can histamine intolerance worsen ADHD? And as you can probably imagine, the answer is yes, it can. Histamine overload can worsen hyperactivity and can worsen restlessness and anxiety. It can worsen sleep disturbances and mood volatility and brain fog and inattention. And that's because histamine can also cause gut inflammation, and it may contribute to poor absorption of nutrients like magnesium, B6, zinc, and iron, all of which are essential for dopamine balance and managing ADHD naturally. This makes histamine intolerance an important missing link in many individuals with ADHD, especially when traditional treatment doesn't resolve the symptoms. All right, now let's talk about solutions. What can you do if you suspect histamine intolerance is affecting ADHD in you or your child, right? Number one is clean up the diet, right? Start avoiding these high histamine foods like fermented items, like aged cheeses, like leftovers, cured meats and alcohol. Try a low histamine diet for a few weeks and track your improvements. See if there's any change in your behavior, your mood, your focus, your concentration. Support gut health, right? Histamine is broken down by enzymes that are produced in the gut, particularly DAO, diamine oxidase. So supporting the gut is going to be key. Here's where you want to heal any leaky gut, address dysbiosis, avoid inflammatory foods like gluten and processed sugar. Number 3 is you want to get testing done into the gut and microbiome. You want to know exactly the health of your gut, meaning do you have too many histamine producing bacteria or too little degrading bacteria? You want to address nutrient deficiencies like vitamin B6, vitamin C, copper, zinc, and magnesium, because these all help regulate histamine levels and support neurotransmitter balance. Number 5 is you want to calm brain inflammation. Use natural anti-inflammatories like omega-3s, curcumin, resveratrol. Support that gut-brain axis. Optimize your methylation pathway. Some people with ADHD, in fact most, have genetic SNPs in MTHFR, COMT, DAO. These again all affect methylation. If you need methylation support, these are things like B12 and folate and trimethylglycine. These can all make a huge difference. Okay, so to wrap this up, if you or your child struggles with ADHD and you experience food reactions like skin issues, seasonal allergies, gut symptoms, histamine intolerance could be flying under the radar. Addressing histamine through diet, supporting the gut, making sure that you have good nutrient balance and you reduce inflammation. This is going to have a whole new level of improvement in your health. As always, I recommend that you work with a certified functional medicine practitioner who can guide you through the right kinds of tests that you need based on your personal needs. I want to thank you for watching today's video. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, drop me a comment below. And in the meantime, if you found this value to be helpful, here's a couple other videos, either in this corner here or in this corner here, that I think you'll find tremendous value in. Take care, and until next time.